I'm going to be showing you how different ways you can invest in precious metals. You could, a few people have always asked me all the time, how can I get into this business? How can I invest in it? You can be an investor, you can be a business owner, you can be a trader. So how do you come into it? There's several ways. You might be the kind of person that hasn't got much time on your hands, and all you want to do is you want to play short, and you just want to invest in precious metals on the short. So you're a trader. You might be an investor that likes to invest for the foreseeable future. Despite inflation, you want to be an investor and you want to invest in precious metals, which are the physical bars, the bullion bars. But there are other people, they much prefer to invest in mining stocks. They want to invest in companies that actually mine precious metals because they believe if gold is going up despite the inflation and keeping its price during inflation, it's always a better idea to invest in the company itself. Here, it brings me to what I'm going to be talking about today, which is more around equitable shareholding in the mining stock company. I'll introduce myself first. I'm Thomas Balogun, the Southern Enterprise Awards winner for 2022 for mining and metals. I've been in the business for quite a long time. I've got to perfect what I'm doing over time now, but it wasn't quite plain sailing like that. Even though I speak confidently about the business, but it wasn't plain sailing because I've always made lots of errors in this business over time, but I've continually learned from people that were better than me over time and made sure I learned from my mistakes as well and understood what parts within the business can I really invest in. So I've invested in almost all stratospheres within precious metals for me to be able to understand what exactly is going on and what's the safest. So I'm going to be taking you through something that will be beneficial to you, where you can learn more about where you can put your money. So apart from being able to invest in physical precious metals or exchange traded funds where you're doing over-the-counter derivative sort of investments, this is another way where you could invest in equity shareholding within a mining stock company. And what really helps you determine if the company is really doing well, for you to really know if it's a good time to really invest in an equity shareholding company. There are several things you can always consider that would really help you. And part of the thing that would help you is, if you look at it, the value of the US dollar is always the determining factor, because you would see, how does that hold in the current market? What's the value of the US dollar? How is it doing, especially from the inflation perspective? Is it holding its value against asset classes that is being used to back? That's one thing you always need to consider to really understand much more. Market volatility. Market volatility is very key. When you look at the market, it's always very essential you understand how volatile the market is. And what I mean by that is, when you look at different asset classes, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and foreign exchange, you're going to see how precious metals compare to other asset classes. So over the last 12 years, precious metals have done very well, where it's actually increased year on year by 12% against all other asset classes. That's very fantastic over time. And that's why investing in precious metals is always very essential. One of the key things is, what's the jewelry demand? If there's a very high jewelry demand out there, it's very essential. When there's a high jewelry demand, there's always going to be the need for high production. So if you invest in a company where there's a very high demand for the product, then definitely you would make a very good consistent return. That's very guaranteed as things are going. There's going to be high demand for that. So if you look at it, another point here is gold production. Because when there's high jewelry demand from a company that you've invested in, there's always going to be high gold production. And when there's high gold production, then you make a lot of money as well as an investor in that particular mining stock company, which is very key. That's very essential. Recently, due to the inflation, a lot of the central banks, the Chinese central bank, the Indian central bank, they're buying a lot of gold, high bullion reserves. And when this is the case, when there's high bullion reserve purchase, it increases the mining stock in terms of what you buy, the company that you've actually invested in. So that's the essential key. I'll repeat that once again. When you invest in the equity shareholder mining stock, the value of the US dollar, the market volatility, jewelry production, the gold reserves, and the bullions is very key. So if you like what you've been hearing and you want to understand what goes on within this world, especially if you want to invest in an equity shareholding company, which is a mining company, and you want to understand how you'll be able to do that, get in touch with me by clicking on the link below, and we'll be able to help you. Myself and my team members of expert and consultant will be able to guide you in the right direction and provide you with the right strategy going forward. Stay blessed. God bless you.